appreciate the rain might not be comfortable, but give it a couple of days and you'll be thankful for it. It masks the sound of footsteps, as does the wind. No, I don't need to know your name. All I need to know is that you're very important to my client. Hold on. Keep it in the envelope. It's 1,000 exactly. Now listen to me. Listen very carefully. You see that star? Brightest to the south. I need you to follow that star. I need you to follow it until you break the tree line. It's gonna take a long time. You won't cross much in the way of civilization. Only travel at night. You can restock on the few towns between here and where I need you to be. Once you eventually reach the end of the tree line, continue to follow the star until you find a group of rock. Follow the line of rocks. And after a day or so, you'll stumble upon to a wooden cabin. I will be in this cabin. You might need some minor treatment. And probably a hot meal. Water will be scarce. Any water that you can't come by will be expensive. Pay whatever you need to. You don't need to know why you were selected. Not everyone can afford the man in the blue shirt to escape. My client selected you specifically. Take the money, and I'll see you in a few days. Remember, travel only at night. Sleep under cover during the day. Follow the star. Go. You're awake. I was beginning to wonder if you wouldn't make it. You did well. I saw you that first night in the woods. I didn't think you had it in you. You were asleep for a couple hours, pretty much passed out on the doorstep of the cabin. But you made it. All right. You've been exposed to a chemical called G371. Not by me, not by any particular person, actually. The woodland you were running through is sprayed with this chemical to prevent escape, essentially. The woodland that borders the prison is sprayed entirely with this chemical. The only escape is pretty much to the front door, following along the river. The man in the blue shirt pretty much has that summed up and sewn up. Right, my client has very generously paid for lodging here for a couple of days. I'm going to tend to a couple of scrapes and bruises that you have. Your face is the largest absorber of this chemical. It soaks into the bloodstream. Not until a couple of days. So we're going to sit down, get some hot food in you, a little bit of water. I'm going to apply a cream that neutralizes the chemical. Going to run a couple of tests to make sure that you're still entirely lucid. I'll be taking this. I planted this on you the first night in the woods. The best thing about a mule, or a carrier, is one that doesn't know they're carrying something. This looks entirely insignificant to you. There's two of them. Silver lining metal. It's only made and manufactured inside the prison. My client's very grateful. Okay. Just fixing a batch of noodles for you. Don't get too excited. Enjoy. Client will also provide you with an eighth of a liter of water. It might not seem a lot, but it'll prevent dehydration, prevent any dehydration side effects, no pounding headaches. There'll be a full bottle for you when you're ready to leave. In case you're wondering, I'm eating the same dinner. I've been eating these noodles every night for over a month. You're probably wondering who I am. You know, for cheap pack of noodles. Well, I say cheap. Back when they were manufactured, these were considered cheap. You know, you work for a week, be able to afford half a packet. My client has had her eye on you for some time. Don't get too excited. It's entirely business. You should drink. The prison you were in is well known for producing this particular metal. People often try to smuggle out components and fixtures. You were picked specifically because you are non-threatening. When you breached the walls, and you followed instruction quite well, you even managed to meet me at the oak tree. When the walls are breached, guards in local towns and settlements are alerted to the escape, as per procedure. However, quite often, a human being can't see past a nice, friendly pair of eyes. And as I said, the best thing about a mule is one that's unaware they're carrying anything. How many times were you asked where you came from? Bet nobody even checked your bag. Somebody like me tries to escape from the same prison who wouldn't get past the first checkpoint. It's a compliment of sorts. And yes, I get a full canteen of water. You were lucky it was raining. Even with your unoffending and seemingly innocent demeanor. Without the cover of night and the wind and the rain, you would have been caught. I guarantee it. How were the noodles? Oh, I had a couple of spices. Little thyme. Little oregano. Couples with the chicken stock base the noodles are cooked with. We've got to make the best of what we have out here. Once I get you de-cleansed, apply a couple of salves. You're free to go wherever you want to go. You're free. How much of the 1,000 do you still have? You did well. You need to forgive me for my demeanor. I've been smuggling for a long time. No. I have had clients in the past that once delivery has been successful, well, let's just say I don't accept those kind of contracts anymore. All right. This won't take too long. And it's mostly painless. I say mostly because of the couple of grazes you have. It might sting a little bit. And first things first. I'm going to apply a salve to forehead and cheeks, down the bridge of the nose. The salve will neutralize the chemical. And although it's extraordinarily slow acting and slow to be absorbed, the effects are, it's a neuroleptic, essentially. This is a paste. This will be lathered over the skin. Almost like a face mask. Are we clear? It's not man-made. It's entirely natural. We just know the chemical compound required to break the chemical down. If I'd applied it beforehand, it has a very distinct scent. Anyone that you came across would know. Residents are immune to the chemical. Only those in prison are susceptible to it. So they smell the antidote, and they know exactly where you just came from. Just hold still. Don't be so nervous. You made it. You got a damn sight further than most people do. I promise you that. Good. Good. All right. Okay. Let me see your arm. The blood clotted quite well. The wound is mostly clean. I'll put a little alcohol onto the graze. Might kill anything that would like to take root in your blood. If you don't believe me, you can smell it. Remember the part where I said this is mostly painless? Just hold still. This will keep you alive. I know it doesn't smell great. Relax. Relax. Okay. The paste for your face will, it'll harden after about an hour. And you can just peel it off. I don't get paid enough to take care of people, you know. Usually I retrieve the goods. Better than you thought, right? Don't drink all your water at once. Save at least a mouthful. I'll tell you why. inject you. A very small percentage of that chemical will ultimately have been absorbed somewhere in your body. Although it takes a couple of days, something will have slipped in. I'm going to load up a cocktail of antibacs. It'll be sprayed onto the tongue and swallowed. Okay? And I don't think you realize just how expensive this cocktail will be. Alex, it's on the house. Open up. And swallow. Okay. I appreciate your ability to speak is somewhat limited. We've treated your face. All this is going to do is exfoliate the arms and the hands, anything that was exposed directly to the chemical. Your legs, thighs, chest was covered the entire time. Give me your arm. That shouldn't be sore. No. I've been for hire for longer than I can remember. I have a penchant for the dramatic. I remember my very first job, actually. It was a guy not much younger than you. He'd been in the prison for 6 years. He had that kind of disillusioned look in his eye. They're usually kind of tricky to break out because townsfolk will always recognize the look. Prisoner's gaze, they call it. Anyway, I met him at the rendezvous. He did well. No, this was my first job and I was green. I went to plant the object. And he noticed. Now I can have the objects smuggled out, but I can't transport them beyond the tree line. That's where folks like you came in. I was so sure that I was light-fingered. I tried to drop. It was a memory card. I tried to drop the card in his... He had an inside zip on his backpack. He turned around and asked what the hell I was doing. He attacked me. As was his right. I wasn't trying to hurt him. But sure enough, if he had been found with the item, well, his anger was fair and justified. He knew his fate. As did I, as did my client. Now, this isn't the same client that's paid for your release and escape today. It was a long time before I took my next job. I worked on my pocket work. I was pickpocketing in the streets. I should have done it prior, and maybe my first wouldn't have ended the way it did, but we are where we are, as they say. Now, your face mask will be hardening about now. I need you to do one more thing. You can sit there and relax. Be placing they're called retainers. They sit on the temple. So be plugged into the console. It'll allow me to read your brain waves and your brain patterns. Sometimes prisoners see things and pick things up without even realizing it. And because they haven't realized, it doesn't matter what question I ask, you wouldn't be able to give me the right answer. Much in the same way, we used you as a mule. You were so perfect for it because you didn't know it. There's a lot of subliminal work on the prisoners. There's a bit of a larger story as to why. Makes them a little bit more conducive and malleable. Anyway, this won't hurt. But I will be able to see your every thought displayed quite clearly in picture format. Think clean thoughts. Okay. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And in all honesty, it doesn't matter how you answer them. I just need your brain to work. How old are you? Okay. It's normal. What's your name? Really? Okay. How long were you in the prison for? This doesn't make any sense. Talk me through the routine when you woke up in the morning. What did you do? This isn't right. Your brainwaves are completely normal. I want to try again. All right. Meal times. How much did you eat? I'm beginning to think there's more to you than meets the eye. Somebody that's been in prison for this long, their brain patterns are crystallized almost. They read in a very predictable and very well understood manner. Everything we've went through here today, right from the noodles to the water, It's staged to prep your brain for what we just went through. I should have asked for a higher price, busting you out. If I'd have been seen with you, I've seen these brainwaves once before. You are of the royal line. And there's going to be a lot of people looking for you. Now, I don't know if my client knows if you are who you are. The royal line has a consistent trait with their brain patterns, to do with the genetic construct of deoxynucleic acid. Do you know what it is? I appreciate what I've just told you has went way over your head. You don't remember anything past the point of the prison, do you? Okay. Right. First, I'm going to break my own protocol here. The first instance, there's always a first instance when a client reaches out to a potential escapee. Do you remember what yours was? And did she give you anything? Have you actually met her? I know what's happened here. She knew who you were. I'm the one that's fallen for the ruse. The bolts that you inadvertently smuggled out. They were just a hook to lure me in to getting you out of here. You are what's called too hot to handle. If she had told me I was smuggling at a royal, I would have told her where to go. Or at least I would have told her to come back with a truckload more than she was paying me. She knows you're here. There's more to your story. I know it. My name's Matt. And I'm apprehensively pleased to meet you, Your Highness. Rest easy. You can stay for a couple of days. Everything has changed. Get some rest.